Welcome to the Dingus Den.
And we are live! Welcome to the Dingus Den for a brand new episode of the Daily Dingus, where we're here to talk about a bunch of different comic news, because New York Comic Con, I think, dropped a lot of big news. And so definitely a lot of exciting stuff to talk about, and, who better to have, to be here to break it down with me than Steve from Rebel Rock Radio. How are you doing today?
What's up? New York Comic Con. I've never been to one. I'd like to go someday.
Yeah, that would be very cool to do,
I was
indeed.
talking to somebody about this the other day. I was like, I think I would rather go to New York Comic Con than San Diego.
That's that's actually a very good question, because I don't know which I'd rather go to. Because ideally, I'd love to go to, both, right? But if I could only
San
pick
Diego
one, I don't know.
So I want to say overrated because it's not because of that. It's
I
just
could.
it's so impossible. Number one, to get tickets.
Is it though?
It really is. It's like you have to get in this line and you have to be there at like 1 o'clock in the morning waiting on the website.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
and it's gotten way more expensive. And I just feel like if I went there, my anxiety would just go into overdrive. Whereas New York, a bigger city, of course, than San Diego, but I just think it's a little bit more low key than San Diego.
I could definitely see that to a degree, and you still have like the nice big con feel and
Yeah.
you still have some big stuff here and there. I can see that. That'd be interesting. Like, there's definitely like one thing that I actually appreciated about this Comic Con is some of the panels were actually live stream free, like select ones, and I watched one of them as it was live streamed, and it was the Creature Commandos panel, where they showed everything except the trailer that debuted there, but they literally posted it online like right after, because it's the main trailer that just came out for it over the weekend. And so, but that was really cool because I was able to like watch all the stuff that like James Gunn was talking about and the other things that the cast said, and it was really interesting listening to that. And so, but really cool to just be able to like listen to something like that, because that was one of the only panels I'd really be interested in, like honestly tuning in to watch and all that. And then they ended up they shared it all there, which is pretty cool.
So another thing about New York Comic Con, as opposed to San Diego, and this may be just because it's more what I was paying attention to,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels to me like it is more comic focused.
I could see it, a lot of people kind of talked about like how San Diego's just got really uh Hollywood, right? And not
Yeah,
so much focused on comic
yeah.
stuff, like we still talk about the comic stuff,
They
and
do,
they
but
still
it
have
gets
a good
kind
bit.
of buried in everything
It
else.
is just, yes, absolutely. Also, we
Uh,
got in a fellow Taco Cat from your streams. Look at that. Welcome in
Taco
over here,
Cat, what's up, man? Hey,
as
this
well
is
as
fun.
or as I've dubbed in the Discord, Steve number two, But so welcome in. Thank you all so much for coming by. And so,
Awesome.
but yeah, couple of things to get into, because we have a lot to get into. So I'm ready to just
We
dive
do.
into it. But we'll before we get into that stuff, just a little bit of the housekeeping that I want to go into. Right after this show, I'll also be doing another live stream as part of Rambling Red Shirt. So not only am I going to be talking about all the main comic news, but we'll also be getting into some other New York Comic Con stuff a little bit as well, and as well some other bits of news that came out as well. And so keep an eye out for that. Right after that, right after here, I'll post a link in that like right before we end. So just kind of follow over there for more. The after party, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. The party continues over there to talk about a bunch of stuff. But also be sure to like, subscribe, share, and all that stuff. Hit that notification bell so you never miss when we do another live. And so, speaking of, I just put out a video of Absolute Batman, which has actually been, view-wise has been, doing good. And so, if you haven't checked that out, please do. As me and a good friend, comic book friend, oh my gosh, comic book fan, we delved deep into talking about Absolute Batman. There's a lot to get into with that issue, and yeah, there is a lot into it. So, and then there's also a couple different things I'm gonna be like doing with this show as well. One of the things is I'm actually aiming to do this show bi-weekly now, and I'm wanting to also to tie into that. I'm wanting to have it be whatever week there's not a Daily Dingus, we'll have a Red Shirt show. Obviously, this week is different. We're having both in one day, but I'm wanting to get into a flow of where those shows trade off with each other, and so I'll have at least a show every Wednesday, whether it's here or Red Shirts Remastered. So, and welcome in, Ubaldo. Great to see you here. And I will get back to you, Baldo. Don't think I've forgotten. And we got Hobby the Geek or Allspark, whatever. You know what? I was thinking about you. What do you want me to call you by? Something I was just thinking about today. And so, cousin, what up, Isaac? Good to see you here. Yeah, Ubaldo's saying he still doesn't have Absolute Batman. It's a must get, and so however you can get it, it's selling for good reason. Good reason. So.
It was great. I loved it.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh,
I wrote a review of that.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I'll be sure to link that review in the description below, so be sure to go check that out after the fact. And yeah, but yeah, one other thing that I'm also going to be doing, which be doing here in just a moment. I did it last week, or not last week. 2 weeks ago when me and Patrick, aka Gannon, joined. And I showed all my pulls, and I'm gonna do that as well. And I actually ended up getting a few extra like things this week, which I'll show off. But I'm gonna actually dedicate it to a section called the pull. I don't have like a special like video for that yet. Maybe I'll come up with something here sooner than later. But I'm gonna actually end up clipping that section and putting it up as its own video later on. And so, you know, just a way to highlight the pulls and stuff. So I'll be having that. Right, you know what? Let's get right into that. Before we do,
I keep meaning to do something like that too, but
you know what? Two birds with one stone. What can I say?
yeah.
All right. So, Hobby the Geek just says Hobby the Geek. You know what? That sounds good. Sounds good, Hobby the Geek. All right. But yeah, we're gonna get into this. So, I'm gonna go into the full cam here. They should still be able to hear you, Steve, so, you know, feel free to comment on everything. But, stuff here. Let's get into this week's edition, of the poll. Let's get into it here. Welcome to the new section of the poll, where I'm going to show off what I got. So what I typically do is I've been trying to get into a flow of going to my comic store every 2 weeks, and if I can get it aligned here with these Daily Dingus episodes, that'd work quite well, you know? So, but anyway, let's get into this. First up, I have Absolute Wonder Woman, issue 1, big issue that just came out. I haven't read any of these yet because I've been very busy. I literally went to the comic store and
I got that one as well, and I have read it.
Yeah, how was it? Did you like it?
It was good. I didn't like it as much as Absolute Batman.
That's a high bar right there, though. Let's be fair. Without getting into it.
And I'm a big Batman fan, so it's kind of hard.
That's true as well.
But it is really good. I'm gonna keep reading it.
Yep. Well, another one I'm really excited to get more into, Green Lantern.
Very cool.
Issue 16.
Who's writing that now?
Still Jeremy Adams.
Okay.
Where, we got news about him in a bit. Which we'll be getting into here sooner than later. The new Superman, which I'm very excited to get into, because it deals with the return to Doomsday that they've been setting up for over a year. Where actually, my highest viewed video, as of this moment, is covering the Doomsday special, where they first really set this up, and that came out over a year ago. So now we're starting to finally see that arc start to play out, which is why I'm like really excited for it. We got the new issue of Wolverine that came out last week. issue of Wolverine.
Oh, that was last week. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
that.
Also from last week is Uncanny X-Men issue 5 there.
Yeah.
This week, right? I think it was this week, was X-Men issue 6.
Yeah, that is right.
This is the a nice variant cover I got. I like this.
Yeah,
I don't know who did the art, but I really like it.
That is not the cover that I have.
One I got the Alien Romulus one-shot prequel because I absolutely loved the movie, and I think this is a one-shot that could actually add something to the story depending on if they
I don't
do
have
it.
That
What?
That one shot.
Gotta pick it up. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how it is. We have the finale to the first arc of Rook Exodus, which this has been an awesome series written by Jeff Johns. Highly recommend this. Got issue 2 of Violator. I really like the Violator there. Issue 7 of Sam and Twitch Case Files. Because, getting into all my Spawn stuff. Well, yeah. I say that, but it's kind of lighter, because this is the only other Spawn thing, which is of Rat City. None of the even, like, main titles there. And then got issue 3 of Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This has been really good. And then I ended up splurging and getting a few trades. Because I saw both of these on the shelf. Ultimate Spider-Man. Got all first 6 issues right there. As well as the first 6 issues of Ultimate Black Panther.
Okay.
And then I ordered this one off of Amazon. The first one came damaged because Amazon sucks, but this one came in much better condition. That is Creature Commandos trade right there.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the pull thing here, where I'll be doing this at the beginning of every daily Dingus stream. Cut it down into this nice size video, and then if you want to tune in for all the news, be sure to go back and check out the daily Dingus live stream that we're recording right now as we speak. So thank you everybody for tuning in on this first episode of the pool. See you all later. Here we go.
I can't show you my pulls because I mine are digital, so like share my screen or something, but
no, it's all good. All right, so let's get into this. Hobby the Geek is saying that he's very excited for Ultimate Wolverine /'s return. We'll be talking about that in a bit. That I'd say is probably Marvel's biggest news that they dropped. But yeah, also think about picking up Ultimatum. Assuming you mean like Ultimates? Is that what we're talking about? Or is there something actually called Ultimatum that I'm not connecting? I don't know. And Waldo's saying great selection. Thank you. I try to pick quality. Not always. That's actually a lie. But it's just whoever you really care for, It's one of the ways you get into it. Alright, well, without further ado, let me do this for you, because I haven't done this. Hold on. There you go. Alright. Yeah, the Ultimate. Yeah, the Ultimates, yeah. Oh, the old Ultimate Universe. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't read any of the old Ultimate Universe stuff. Like, everyone talks about, like, how great Ultimate Spider-Man is, and I've just had, like, honestly, no interest to read that.
Dude, that is so good.
I know, that's the thing. Everybody tells me it's a must-read, and I just don't care. I don't know why.
Yeah, it is. It is so good.
I know. Well, that's what I hear, but, I don't know. Alright, anyway, and Steve says he has to get that last run into. I highly recommend it. Like, if you enjoy, like, it's not as good as the first one, because, like, that first one, it's one of the best comic stories of recent years, so that's a high bar, but as far as, like, a sequel goes, I think it's been a solid sequel so far. Interesting seeing a new generation of Turtles, which is cool, because it's kind of like, you could tell a lot of them, it like, takes aspects of, like, who, like, in other Turtles' shoes that they're meant to fill. That's interesting, because each one kind of has, like, a special, like, power with them that they're trying to learn as well. It's really interesting. So, I recommend. Alright. Well, first up, let's get into all this DC news here. There's a bunch of DC stuff, such as this one's actually technically not. So a lot of this news, most of this news, I think, is like from New York Comic Con. But then there's some other bits that came out in like the week prior to New York Comic Con. That's also worth mentioning. And this follows into that, as there's some interesting stuff here where I didn't link that up there.
Yeah.
There we go. Here we go. Such as we have here the new digital series announced, where we got the first issue of at least one of these. I don't know if this one's out now, but we have Harley Quinn in Paradise, a romance comedy. You have the Nothing But Nightwing, where, you know... Yes.
So that was a little weird, because it's Nightwing as a supermodel.
Right?
It's like...
It's going all into, the whole Nightwing butt, right? It's funny.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna pick that up.
Oh, man, it's just the digital stuff. It's like you only read it on the DC Universe Infinite stuff. If anything is most interesting, it's this fantasy idea, Renaissance of Raven. Like a more fantasy version with the Titans, sword and sorcery stuff. Raven and Beast Boy, and is that meant to be Nightwing back there? Or like I don't know who that's meant to be there specifically, but
Well, I mean, you got Beast Boy there.
yeah.
I don't know who that other guy is.
Right.
I don't think that's Grayson.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very Grayson to me. Look at this, like it doesn't really say too much about it. But I've never really gotten into reading any of the digital stuff. I tried once. And that was with they've been doing special like X-Men from the Ashes, like they're technically new, but like that first one didn't seem really like add anything. Because I read through it and it's weird too. Of like, have you tried reading any of those where it's like built for you to just scroll? Like it's weird.
Yeah, no, not my thing.
Yeah, I agree. Not my thing either. I tried it, and I'm like, okay, I'm good. Now, specifically, I don't think these are necessarily built to be like that, but, like, we've been seeing a bunch of these, what is it that DC calls it? Well, I think this is actually new branding on it. Or not new branding, but, like, no, I think it is. All New Comics DC Go, right? So they're leaning into, on DC Universe Infinite, their, digital subscription. They're leaning into being able to read it like smaller bite size on the go, right? Like the Marvel Infinite. What do they call those? Infinite Comics, right?
I think it's geared specifically toward mobile devices.
Yeah, very much like as I say, like I think these are they had a lot of success. DC did with partnering with Webtoons for there's that Adventures of like. What is it called? Like Adventures of like Batman and Friends or something like that. Or you know what I'm talking about? Like it's a big. They did a big like marketing thing or whatever. But anyway, it's just more of that, but for DC Universe and going heavy into Nightwing's butt because you know Nightwing. Yeah. So, but yeah. Hobby the Geek is saying can't wait for being on the Daily Dingus, which yes, next guest will be Hobby the Geek. We'll be looking forward to that.
Very cool.
Right. Continuing onwards, we have... this is kind of weird, because DC, for once, actually did a good job of rounding up all their news, but then they also didn't do a great job of describing a lot of it in their article. So, that's why things are kind of weird here for everyone to kind of, like, not... But anyway, first up though, we have a new Absolute series announced of Absolute Martian Manhunter, which this is the 6 of 8 Absolute series of where I'm hearing there's 8. Rumor is one of them's going to be a team-up book. Probably not Justice League, because they're saying they don't want the members of the Justice League to meet for several years. They're wanting them, or a couple years at least, because they're wanting to grow them on their own for a bit before they'll team up. And so the team up book is something probably like some people are like thinking like Suicide Squad or something. But we have Martian Manhunter here, which we don't really get much details other than this is just some weird sort of like art here and stuff that we get with it, which is really interesting. I think. Oh, I need to get that linked up.
I mean, I think probably jumping ahead, but oh yeah, okay, you're talking about the Martian Manhunter. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, from that article, there was two pieces of artwork that really stood out to me. So, but we'll get there.
yeah, all right, yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, as I was gonna say, like they announced Absolute Martian Manhunter. I don't feel like much really came from this announcement other than just, hey, we're doing Absolute Martian Manhunter. We'll find
Yeah.
out more details sooner than later. And these are like our first main glimpses that we got from it. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not familiar with the writer Dennis Camp right offhand. So
Yeah,
we'll
those
see.
names don't stand out to me.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, we have developments with Aquaman, where that's actually a big deal here. Let me share this for this main image that they have of that they're showing with Aquaman here, and they have this is like what we're saying, like DC's or main article here doesn't talk about the actual description of what this series is, but I got it right here for you all, where it talks about. This is written by Jeremy Adams, who I was just alluding to with who writes Green Lantern and the Green Lantern news in a moment here, but he's writing Aquaman, and that alone makes me interested of like, oh, I've really enjoyed his work on Green Lantern, because I think it's the most I've enjoyed of Green Lantern since Jeff Johns, which is like the definitive Green Lantern run, I'd argue. So, um, anyway, we're having this very interesting thing of in the wake of absolute power, Arthur Curry's powers have evolved to powerful new heights, and this is one king ready to use them to kick some serious butt. Mammoth water construct kaijus has emerged from each of the seven seas, and only Aquaman's water warping abilities can stop them, but not if they can kill the good king in the process. Enter Dagon, Arthur's guide on a quest to unlock secrets of the blue, and we see like artwork there as well. Yeah. Right. Wow, why is this so big? But yeah, um, interesting. But what gets me really excited for it is when you look into pull up here, this artwork right here. Like they're talking big kaiju's, and I'm just like, okay, if this is what this Aquaman series about, I'll take it. You know, seeing Aquaman battle against these kaiju's, I I think it'd be pretty badass.
That could be interesting.
Have you ever like gotten into Aquaman much at all?
Not really.
Yeah, me neither. I agree.
I think I think the most interesting Aquaman story in the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years was probably the Trench.
I haven't read that. Seems interesting though. Welcome in, Salacious Rum. He's saying he could not sleep, so we need to,
Rum.
you know, turn on his TV because, of course you should, like, oh my god.
Of course.
Talking about, Rum being Rum over here, guys. If you all don't know Rum, go check him out. He does lots of great stuff. Making the, most out of both hands there, Good for you, buddy. But anyway, we also got the announcement of a, it didn't necessarily include it here because it didn't talk, it's a separate thing here, but we have a new Green Lantern one-shot called Fractured Spectrum. Not too much details were given out about it, other than it's just like a follow-up as to what's happening right now. And so, but, yeah. We have Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum, more Green Lantern stuff, which is interesting. We'll see why this isn't necessarily part of the main line, because I kind of find that interesting about how they include these pivotal bits that's not included in the main thing. Because the Green Lantern Civil Core special that they just came out with is essentially Green Lantern issue like 15 and a half. Like if you didn't pick up that issue, you'd be lost on what happened in the main Green Lantern stuff. So. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see what's about that. We also got a new Justice League project. separate from the other one, which is let's see here. This one is called Justice League, the Atom Project, where it's focusing on these different Atom characters, whatever. So another Justice League one. Welcome in, Matthew. Appreciate you being here. You know what? Barbecue chicken sounds pretty good. You know. Hope nobody's hungry.
like last night. I was like, good Lord, man.
I will blame a lot of that. I will take the blame for a lot of that. But also, I didn't bring it up. I didn't bring up the food talk. I'll say that.
That was funny.
That was quite funny. Anyway, let's see here. Justice League Unlimited. See, they don't kind of like talk about much of like what exactly this Atom Project thing is. Although I think we do have more details of it here. Atom Project is. Here we go. Written by John Ridley and Ryan Parrott. In the wake of absolute power, superpowers of planet Earth are in chaos. You know, a bunch of people are like getting powers like mixed around and whatnot because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, they're all in like different chaos, and so they're trying to look into like I guess this Justice League story is they're trying to look into like being able to restore and try to like fix a lot of this weird power warping that's going on. Because I think a big part of like what's changed with Aquaman that we're just talking about is that Aquaman now has like a bit of like Mera's powers or has Mera's powers or something like that. So, but yeah, they work together. They try to minds get to crafting the world's first superpower reallocation and backup system, codenamed the Atom Project. So we'll see. Interesting.
Alrighty then.
Yeah. And welcome in, Kat. Can't stay, but have a like. We'll catch the rewatch. Have a great stream, Spencer. You know what? Thank you so much for stopping by, Kat. Appreciate it. And you know, run while you can from rum. Just you know.
Hey, Kat.
All right. Carrying onwards, we have Lex and the City, which is a new one-shot that was just announced. With it just features Lex Luthor and his own sort of one-shot, Valentine's Day one-shot, which talks about love and heartbreak with him, and it's an anthology of stories and heroes of villains looking for love in the big city. And so, I don't know. Probably one I'll skip, but you know what? It was something to announce, so to throw it out there. Hobby's asking, what do you guys even call on? It's all... I stream all through, like, OBS and stuff. But, so I use sort of like this custom setup with something called Video Ninja. But it works on any device. But, alright. Next up, we have... oh, this is... talk about... or highlight. I typically don't want to go too much into previews, but... there is some stuff that I feel like that's worth mentioning, and I mainly just want to bring up two of these images in particular.
Okay, yeah. This is what I was talking about.
As I say, there's two things in here in particular I want to talk about. Because look at this, guys.
That is
look at this Batmobile for absolute Batman here. Alright? Like...
that is crazy.
That's insane. Like, you thought... like, what do you even call this? Like... I don't know.
Ultimate Tumbler or Absolute Tumbler?
I was about to say, it's like you thought the one in Dark Knight was a tank.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to this, which is just
That
crazy.
thing is a monster.
Look at how massive that is. Look at that.
How did he get that? Because, spoiler alert, to everybody, if you haven't read the first one, sorry. He's not rich. So where's he getting that? Oh,
that's a good question.
I know what it is. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I just figured it out.
Yeah, tune in for I don't know if I'll do a video over the second episode. I might, or second issue, but yeah, no, this is wild. Like, holy
That is
crap. We're gonna have to rename the Tumblr from Dark Knight to be Tumblr Junior, I think.
Yeah. Baby
uh,
Tumblr.
Mini Tumblr, right? The other thing is too is look at this. I love this bottom section of artwork of like the bat. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on here. It looks like Batman causes this explosion on this skyscraper, and he makes it look like a freaking bat cowl there. And like, I love the art there at the bottom. And so,
Yeah. That's
Nick,
the other piece that I was going to mention
as I
earlier.
say,
I love that, like, skyscraper with
yes,
it looks like a bat. It's freaking awesome.
Nick Dragona is
Yeah,
freaking killing it with the art.
he is.
So big props to Nick right now. Although we also got other news about it as well, though, with Absolute Batman. That it was issue 4 or 5. They're taking a break to do like a origin issue. Like, we got told like an overview of his origin in the first issue. I'd say, but like we're gonna get in depth with it, which will be interesting. And what's interesting
Do we
is
really need to, though?
there's one aspect I'd like elaborated on, but we'll see. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Steve. Batmobile monster truck, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, Hobby the Geek saying that watched Venom: The Last Dance last night. That's cool. I'm planning on going tomorrow, as that's when it officially comes out over here. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. I'm looking forward to it personally, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I probably won't see it till, yeah, I don't know, because tomorrow night I've got my Star Wars RPG.
Fair, yeah. Let's see here. What do we have next?
There's so much to go through on just this one article.
Yeah, I'm kind of like skipping through bits and or not skipping, but like there's some stuff on Absolute stuff shown, but like that's nothing new there, honestly.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up is I think we talked about this last time you're on. There's a new JSA series, and there is talking about what this first arc is he's talking about like where does this new JSA fit this new DC All-In universe? Where does Golden Age values fit in 2024? Many of the core JSA are missing. And we have Jade and Obsidian leading the team, and that opens this debate on what the team should be, which I think interesting premise for saying the JSA potentially evolve and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. Something I'll pick up later on because there's a lot of different stuff that going on. Just keep up with, but it's interesting. Here's one thing to bring up though is we got our actual like look of the interiors of Absolute Flash here. So here we get to see him sort of look there. I really like whatever's going on here, which I think was the one image that they've shown of it before. But like showing the Speed Force as something different.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized, I guess that's like they're having like a boomerang force, because look at that. That's literally a boomerang ship up there. Like aircraft up there.
Yeah.
And you can tell this guy in the front here is like Captain Boomerang, so that's very interesting. Or no, not Captain Boomerang, maybe no, it's Captain Cold, because look at the glasses there. So we'll see. But they're all part of like a boomerang force.
So the article says who's doing the art, but who's writing it?
I think it's Jeff Lemire. Yeah, it's Jeff Lemire.
Oh, okay.
No, not Jeff Lemire. Wait.
No?
I think it is. Let me double check that. I'm sure. Wait, no. Does it not?
Eh.
Hold on. I'm pretty sure it's Lemire here. Yes,
Yeah,
it is Jeff Lemire.
yeah,
That's what I thought, because that's why it's together there. That's why they're lumped together at this spot.
Okay.
So,
Jeff Lemire.
Trust
Got it.
my instincts. All right.
Yes.
We have New Gods issue 1, where we got some preview of it. Where let's see. Yeah, pull this up here. I'm not familiar with the New Gods. This is one of those things I'd like to read because it seems like it's really interesting. But there's so like maybe this is something I'll end up checking out because it's really being advertised as you can start here with reading New Gods, getting into that side of the DC universe. And so and this art is pretty good here too. So let's see. I'm looking forward to
that is
whatever.
an aspect of DC that I never really dove into.
I agree, but it's something I want to get into because I really like cosmic stuff. And so it seems like it's something that'd be up my alley. I just haven't gotten into any of it yet. So, but yeah, that is written by Ram V, which that's a writer you follow somewhat, right?
I mean, I was reading his detective run for a while, and I did not finish it.
There's a lot there. That's a problem when it goes. What was it? Bi-weekly.
Yeah, it's just there's too much going on, and to be fair and to be completely frank, I kind of like or kind of enjoy the Zdarsky run more than the Ram run.
Oh, I think it is worth noting though, especially since you read it though too. Wait, hold on. Homer the Geek is asking if you can drop a spoiler. No, no spoilers here, please. But you know what? It's cool to hear that Noel and post-credit stuff is crazy. But yeah, please no spoilers as we not even out here yet, man. Give people a moment to watch it first.
Yeah, but one of them was writing detective, the other one was writing Batman, and
yeah,
I just kind of liked the Batman run better.
Yeah,
it's more interesting. No, I won't say more interesting because the stuff that was going on in the Ram run was interesting. There was just a lot going on, and it was coming out too often, and I was way too behind, and
yeah.
I was able to absorb the Zdarsky run a little more, and his run's about to end, so about to.
Yeah.
He's got quite a few months left, but still, it's planning to.
Yeah. No, no, I don't want to know anything at all, because just I'll see it tomorrow. You know what? If you want to talk tomorrow after I watch it, sure. But I don't want anything right now. So, all right. Yeah. Here's something that's interesting. Is we got look at wrong one again. Of Green Lantern, Absolute Green Lantern, written by Al Ewing. And so we don't really see much about it. Other than just a giant Green Lantern logo appears, and so we'll see what happens with them redefining Green Lantern. And I think this is kind of this picture alone is what makes me really interested, because it's this speculating all of like, oh, why is the symbol there, and seeing it as like here very much a symbol of destruction, right? Because it's just there. And you see all the helicopters going in, like, well, what the heck's happening here? Is this a construct? Or, like, what's happening here with this, We'll see. And they're really teasing about how it's completely, like, changing the Green Lantern spectrum and all that, like, or Green Lantern mythos for this Absolute Universe. I mean, which, to be fair, that's been happening with everything, but Green Lantern is, like, my second favorite DC hero, so we'll see how this goes, especially since we see here, I think this is I think this chick is the one from what's her name, the one from Far Sector. I don't remember her name.
That's Joe,
yeah, Joe whatever her name. Yeah, Joe, right?
sector,
We'll just
yes,
call her Joe,
Forest
right?
sector.
That's her first name, right? So, so I think that's Joe there, and then I think that's Hal there up at the top left, and I think that's John Stewart back down at the bottom right. So, like, you're having the main two there as well. It's just a little more focus on Joe, which I need to check out
Yeah,
Forest
because
Sector.
it's supposed to be her and Hal and John and Guy.
All right. Well, I think I could definitely mix out. I think that's Hal there, and I think that's John there. So we'll see. We haven't seen Guy yet, but this seems interesting. Because here it looks like a very clear, like, construct that they see there coming in, and like blood splatter on that too. Like that's something you don't really see too, is all the blood art and all that. No, we'll see. All right. Next up, we have, just want to share some of the looks inside of Justice League Unlimited 1, which will be, it's going to be having a preview for something big that we'll talk about at the end of the DC, or in a moment here. But, just some looks at, what's this here? Of, Justice League Unlimited, which, honestly, they're, tempting me to pick this up. I mean, I have to at least pick up the first issue now because of where what's happening, of what preview's going to be in it, which we have go into. Yeah, very awesome that you got to check out an early screening, Hobby. I'm very happy for you, as that's very exciting. I've gotten to do one early screening that my comic store actually I was able to get free tickets to it, and my comic store, oh my gosh, why is words not working right now? They sponsored it. They sponsored it. So that's why I was able to get free to go to it. And so, and what it was for, because I live in the state of Kentucky. What's big, there was a big movie that came out last year that relates to Kentucky somewhat. The events of it didn't happen here, but still congenital with it, and it was a big deal here, and that was Cocaine Bear. And so I got to go see that for free early, and that was like the first ever time I've been to a theater where like they had like rows reserved for press, and they had like news people out front and everything. It was interesting. So, and I saw Cocaine Bear for free, so you know what? Win-win. Alright, anyway. Then here we also have stuff for Superman, which just came out. So, like, all this stuff with Parasite and looks like Atomic Skull there. Because of absolute power, Lois Lane now has superpowers. There's Parasite there. A bunch of crazy stuff with Doomsday. The main, like, there's like one picture of Doomsday I've been seeing circulating around. It's not. I think it's mainly posted. I'll double check that's not actually here. No, I don't see it. But I've seen one picture of Doomsday go around that looks absolutely wild. And then the end of this article just talks about new stuff with Action Comics. But like this stuff has like already started, so like it's not really anything big there. There is also, they announced the DC Power Rise of the Power Company. This, what is this? Let me see here. I'm trying to remember what this is. There's a bunch that they shared. Justice League Watchtower looming in sight is intended to inspire hope and faith in superheroes, but not everyone believes metahumans acts in humanity's best interests. The Fringe believes that Waller was right. Grown louder as paramilitary groups take to the streets to take Earth back from the human race. Let's see here. Enter power person, meta attorney who's seen enough of rising hate and sets out. I don't know. This isn't catching me, but you know what? This is maybe for somebody.
Me neither, and the creator names are not. Those names don't sound familiar to me.
Yeah.
Not that that's a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
That is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, that doesn't grab me either.
Yeah. Does not grab me. But you know what? Something announced, so.
Yeah.
As well as something else, as actually kind of meant to bring this up earlier because Aquaman There's a big new arc starting with World's Finest issue 35. It's actually getting a new artist. So, talk about good jumping on points of where this has been written by Mark Waid. I've read the first 2 volumes of it. It's really good.
Yeah.
I've liked what I read of it. I really want to
There's
catch
a
up
name
to
you
it as
should
well.
recognize.
I was gonna say, right? Yeah. And so, but I want to catch up on reading it because he's done stuff where he's went back to like with Kingdom Come stuff, and so like I want to get to there, which is the 4th volume, and I've read the first 2. And so, but anyway, with issue 35 here, they're getting into a bunch of stuff with Aquaman, a new artist. And so, you know what? Aquaman's riding a bit of a high right now, getting a new series and having to focus on this World's Finest series. A lot of people have been really enjoying. So, you know what? Aquaman's making a comeback somewhat. All right. Now we're here for the news that we really are here to talk about. All right. We're alluding earlier that in Justice League Unlimited issue 1, there's going to be a little preview for the biggest news announcement of, honestly, I think probably of what came out of this con, like comic-wise at least. If there's something bigger, I don't know what is, because Batman Hush 2 is here.
I mean, bigger is in the eye of the beholder, I think. Big for you. It sounds like it. Yes. Big for me. Absolutely. Some people might not care that there's going to be a Hush 2.
Fair enough. I was
And,
gonna say
you know,
there's
I
other
don't
big.
need those people in my life.
There you go. Starting to like this mentality here. That's funny, but yeah, no, there's
I'm really excited about that. That's
yeah.
Oh,
So what's happening here is Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb are back together to take over the mainline Batman, just as they did back whenever the first Hush came out.
yeah.
And Zdarsky officially confirmed. I linked up like what he said about him being off, but he there's these plans to go bi-weekly with original Batman, then they kind of reverse those plans, and Zdarsky is like, you know what? Actually, I think I want to move on from writing Batman. I think I've had my fill of writing Batman, and so
Yeah. That's fair. I mean,
oh, he's had a good run on it. Let's be honest. He had how many volumes? Like 4 or 5 volumes or something like that.
quite a few.
That's a solid run, I think.
Yeah.
And so
It's been a good run. So
yeah.
his last one is number
157.
Yeah.
158 begins Batman Hush 2 right here. Which yeah, I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That artwork is great.
It's Jim Lee. It's hard to get better than Jim Lee.
Can't go wrong
it's
with
hard.
Jim Lee Batman.
It's really hard to get better with. Yes, 100% agree. It's yeah. We also have the news of DC Vertigo is back. And this isn't necessarily, this is a huge announcement without really saying too much. Because Vertigo is now brought back, and a lot of creators are expressing that they're really excited for what's to come from it. Like, Ramby in particular, I think I saw him, like, today or yesterday really saying, like, alluding that he's working on something, but he can't talk about it. And so, like, a lot of creators are really excited about what's to come out of this Vertigo imprint that's coming back. And they're, it sounds like they're going to lean into making a bit of new stuff that is from, that will tie into this Vertigo line. And part of what they're doing here at the beginning, though, is they are reprinting The Nice House by the Lake, which is written by James Tynion, big Black Label series that he did. So that's going to be rebranded as DC Vertigo, which was part of the DC Black Label. We can also see that the first 3 issues of Nice House by the Sea that is currently coming out is going to be reprinted with the DC Vertigo logo, and that's what this is showing here. And then they're going to also focus on trying to be able to reprint a bit of like the older Vertigo library that hasn't been as available as well. And so this is another absolutely huge announcement that DC dropped as well.
You know, I wonder if the deal with DC Infinite was kind of hinting at that.
I would say no, just because I think it's of DC. I mean, they've owned Vertigo for a while. It's just I'm trying to figure out,
Yeah.
well, here's how to make some more money. Although when you do say that though, like it absolutely was a more recent thing than not. Like I'll give you that. Like that is a more recent development for sure. And so,
Yeah.
before we finish up the DC news here, really quick, my hubby was talking about that his uncle got to go to the red carpet premiere, or got invited to go to the red carpet premiere of Sonic 3. So very cool. Yeah, I'm excited for that movie as well. All right. A couple more bits of DC, and then we'll get to finally move on. But this one I'm actually looking forward to is because it's a we get a Vigilante / Eagly double feature. James Gunn is working as a story consultant, where it's 5 issues, and half of each issue is focused on Vigilante, and then the other half of the issue is focused on Eagly. And so it's set between Peacemaker seasons 1 and 2, but it's not canon. But they're just meant to be fun stories, and what I mean by that is, you can see this here. You can see a bit of Eagly artwork here of just beating up these. What are these, lizard people? And so, which is actually kind of funny that they're lizard people. I just thought of a possible connection there. But yeah, seeing just a fun series. I might check it out after the fact because I really did like Peacemaker, and I'm gonna probably rewatch it ahead of Creature Commandos. So, but yeah, Vigilante / Eagly, the dynamic duo, if you will. And then we got a trailer here for Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong 2. Where hold on here, it shows right here in a moment. Justice League, we have Godzilla there, got Kong there. Oh, look at this. Do you notice this? You notice who that is right there? You notice who that is right there, fighting against that's Kong size right there?
That kind of looks like, I mean, it's either Godzilla or it's Killer Croc.
That is indeed Killer Croc as a kaiju.
Good God. That's a scary thought.
Oh yeah. Justice League vs. Godzilla vs. Kong 2. We have King Ghidorah in the mix as well. See Shaw and Lex Luthor there. We'll see what happens there. Which, the interesting idea about this, well, the first series was just a lot of fun. It's you can only get so serious with a kaiju story, and for me, when I want a kaiju story, I just want a bunch of fun, right? But and I had a bunch of fun reading that first one, so I'm looking forward to seeing what'll happen here. But what's interesting about this one is the premise of the first one focused on what if kaijus entered Earth Prime, the DC Earth. Versus now, it's going to be the other way around, where the DC characters end up being on the Monsterverse Earth. And so, we'll see what happens. Especially, listen, Killer Croc as a kaiju, it's crazy, and I'm here for it. That's honestly kind of my main selling point right there is, I would have never thought I'd utter the words Killer Croc and kaiju together.
That's kind of scary.
Killer Croc's a freaking kaiju. What can I say? Freaking terrifying. Absolutely spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky crap right there. But yeah, that's DC stuff, as there's a bunch of DC stuff that came out. We'll now get into Marvel, which has a bit of where they're talking about a new series of one-shots. Like I said, some of this stuff I'm just going to be like quick firing through because there's a lot, But We got a series of one-shots of Doctor Doom and Rocket Raccoon, which those two I think are interesting. Captain America and Volstagg. Nick Fury and Fin Fang versus Fin Fang Foom. Okay. Hulk and Doctor Strange. Ghost Rider versus Galactus. That's kind of interesting. And Spider-Man versus Doctor Octopus. Okay. How's that? Oh, whatever. But anyway, it's from J. Michael Straczynski, as he's presenting 6 one-shots featuring the strangest Marvel appearings ever. And so this highlights that. For these different series of one-shots. I don't know. I like some fun one-shots. Some of these sound interesting. We'll see how they turn out. Each with a different artist and whatnot, so we'll see how that goes. Next up, though, we have in Spider-Boy issue 13, we have the debut of Hulkette. You know what? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been following Spider-Boy, but you know, it's just one of those characters that's like, really? I guess, you know, like I don't know.
I have not either. I do like Dan Slott, and I think he is still writing this.
Yes, I believe so.
But
yes, he is.
But as we have mentioned before,
yes,
something's got to go. You can't buy everything.
Right, you know, Hulkette's not the what do you want to say? Hulkette's not quite the sort of thing that people are raring to go for, you know.
Yeah.
Not that appealing, you know.
Well, Hulkette and really Spider-Boy in general is just not something that's going to make me say, okay, I'll add this.
That's the thing, is it's like, unless you're a hardcore Spider-Man person, like, because, you know, like, the only reason why I'd see this character, I mean, either A, you're somebody that can somehow keep up with everything, which, you know what, kudos to you if you're one of those people, you know.
There are people out there like that, yes.
Right, kudos to you, but then the other audience I see this really targeting to is those people that are heavy into everything Spider-Man. Not saying that they're a Spider-Man fan, but into everything Spider-Man, congenital to Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah.
And so, because this is the thing, though, is when you have a Spider character, why would you not go for Spider-Man out of all the other choices?
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, if you are a fan in general of Dan Slott's writing,
sure,
I could see
absolutely.
And you know what? I'm going with the notion that I'm pretty sure he is writing Spider-Boy.
He is.
I am not 100%.
He is.
Okay. But yeah, if you are a huge fan of Dan Slott's writing, and I loved his Spider-Man run. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I know. I want to read it.
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot.
There is a lot there.
It was a huge run. He was on Spider-Man for a long time. And really, that was the run on Spider-Man that for a long time set the bar for me.
Interesting. Yeah.
That being said, yes, okay, I'm a fan of Dan Slott's writing. This character does not move me enough to want to go read it.
That's fair. Fair enough. Sorry, Hulkette, I guess. Sorry, no, sorry.
I mean, and a lot of it still has to do with I've got so much else on my plate.
I very much feel that as well. And for me right now, it's really hard because it's DC's making so much stuff that's enticing to be like,
right.
Do I want to check that out?
You got this entire Absolute line that's coming out that I want to check out.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot. There's a lot going on these days. But yeah. Anyway, you know what else adds to this a lot that probably won't check out is we have Marvel Holiday Tales to Astonish,
mm,
where
probably not.
I was about to say, yeah, you know, if you want, it could be a fun holiday read, but I don't know. The one I'm more interested in, which I talked about, I think it was 3 Daily Dinguses ago, was Return of Silent Night, or Silent Night Returns, or whatever it's called, the sequel to the Batman Santa Claus Silent Night.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, and so we'll see. I literally
Yeah.
had it on the thumbnail and everything, so I think it's just like a water spirit thingy. And the art's not bad on it. Like I like the well, granted, it's more of it's an anthology of different stuff here, but
Yeah.
I kind of like this art here. But anyway, yeah, just another thing. We also got an all new Premiere collection. Something is interesting of them. I feel like this is Marvel's sort of response to what DC was doing with their compact line of comics, where they
Mhm.
were talking, where they're printing out stuff at a more affordable price, but they're now looking into giving it these to be entry points. But you know, I think this is an interesting selection of books to specifically choose for entry points, though. They're choosing
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again, which
I'm not sure if I would have went that route with Daredevil
I think the reason they're choosing this though is because of the show.
because of the show. That makes sense.
And I think that's how I can explain most of these. Maybe not this one of Coates Black Panther. Because I just know this has been I don't know. I don't know why this Black Panther. Like I know a lot of people like talk about this one, but like I'm not. Out of
Yeah,
so many other big Marvel stories, I don't know why highlighting
I
this
have
Black
not
Panther in
read that one,
particular.
so or if I have, I don't remember. So
Fair enough.
yeah,
They were listed at $15 each, which isn't bad for a lot of these. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like this is one I can understand. This is really the one that I think would maybe make most sense of Winter Soldier being regarded as a lot of people's like top tier favorite MCU movie. So to lean into that aspect.
present company included.
There you go. Case in point, right?
Yeah. Um, yeah, it is. It's probably. I mean, as far as Captain America comic books go,
Mm-hmm.
I could say that's probably a favorite of mine.
Okay. I
Um,
don't think I've actually read it.
it's Ed Brubaker had an amazing run on Captain America.
Yes.
So if somebody was to ask if somebody had never read Captain America before, where would I start? I'd say start with Brubaker.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You have a cat meowing on your end?
Yes, my
Okay.
the,
I just
the door to my office is closed, and
I
somebody
see.
went in, and he's just gonna keep meowing until I get up and let him in.
Alright, anyway, to carry on though for the last one of this line
Um,
is Fantastic Four Solve Everything, which I think I actually read this one earlier this year for my first time. Which this one is much like Daredevil Born Again. I wouldn't choose this as the Fantastic Four story to get into. However, this Fantastic Four story is what introduced a lot of concepts that modern MCU of this multiverse saga is doing, like the idea of variants and the incursions, like all that ideas that Marvel has been introducing for the multiverse saga to set up King originally, but now being with Doctor Doom, came from this
yeah.
Fantastic Four story. So I understand why they're picking this Fantastic Four story. Although overall, I wouldn't say read this one
Mhm.
first, but I understand why, because much like with the Daredevil stuff, same reasoning overall.
Yeah, yeah. I don't remember reading this one either. In fact, I can guarantee you that I did not read Solve Everything. Um, although it is Hickman, so maybe I should. I don't know.
It's good. I will say I think it was good. I think it was a good read. And it kind of made me
It,
a little more
it's probably
appreciate.
on Unlimited. So
Yeah, it for sure is. But it kind of made me appreciate a little more what MCU is trying to do because
oh, man.
long story short, I didn't like what they were doing with Kang, and I was like, this is all dumb. But then actually kind of seeing more of like where they're getting bits of it for, I'm like, okay, you're still doing it bad, but I'm understanding it more.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but yeah. All right. Now to actually get into the New York Comic Con news, we have new Infinity Comics to talk about. Just get them out of the way. We have Astonishing Spider-Man, Astonishing X-Men, and Astonishing Avengers coming out on their own different
Another
Unlimited.
X-Men title.
But you know what? This one's free on Marvel Unlimited as long as you have it.
Sure.
Free with a paid subscription.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that. That's fine. Are these new stories? Is that what they're saying?
These are yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though, is they kind of just announced these and didn't really talk about anything about them, to be honest. But you can read Astonishing Spider-Man 1 and 2 right now. And
Well,
X-Men begins in December and Avengers is in January next year.
and you've got some again, got some like we were talking earlier, got some names that are not as familiar, uh, which could be a very good thing.
You know what? I'm always down to give anyone a chance. It's just a matter of
Yeah. Yeah.
there's just so much to read and so much that I haven't read to go read, you know. Just a matter of time, right? All right.
Cats, you know, man, they
Cats. Another one though, and I don't typically care for these Infinity comics, but this one I kind of find a little funny and cute. Beastly buddies involving
Yeah.
like Man Thing and who is that meant to be there? I don't know. They have also Bloodstone back there. I don't know. I find it funny that you're having uh oh, this is meant to be the werewolf from Werewolf by Night with Man Thing.
Yeah.
Which I think this is kind of funny. Not gonna lie, like I could get down with this as just something funny and light to read. To be honest, but you know, if I was to read any Marvel Infinity exclusive comic thing, it might be this one. To be honest, is the first one out now? First one might be out now, actually. Yeah, the first one is out now. So.
Okay.
All right. Now we're getting into the good stuff, guys. Ultimate Wolverine, issue 1 here. This is quite an interesting change on Wolverine, where essentially what they're doing is we don't know who this new identity of Wolverine is yet. I believe. I think it's kept secret. But this Wolverine is the Winter Soldier of the universe. Being like the experiment where he's controlled by the Soviets, or specifically the oh my gosh, what are they called? Rasputins, I think. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Magic, Colossus, and Red Omega, which
Yeah.
that's a very interesting premise, I think. Like completely change it up. What do you think? What do you think about this?
Um, it does sound really interesting. I'm on the fence still right now if I'm going to pick that one up.
Well, I'm not going to pick it up right away because I haven't been reading all the, I mean, I literally just picked up my actual copies of the Ultimate stuff, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
I decided for the Ultimate Universe, I'll get it as they come out in trades, except for I've literally been told this by the who checked me out at my comic store today to not read to not get Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah.
Where I've been seeing a lot of people just not like that at all.
Oh, you're talking about Ultimate X-Men?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I think once the first arc comes out on Marvel Unlimited, I may give it a try there. But like Spider-Man,
I,
Ultimates I'll pick up, and Black Panther I'll see how it is. Black Panther I think looks
Spider-Man was
really
really
interesting.
good. Spider-Man was really good, and that one I dropped. It was just a victim of I need to get rid of something.
Sure. Yeah, I'm at that kind of point now too, where I'll probably have to do that sooner or later, and I don't know what
But
I
it
want
was
to drop.
good. It was really good.
Nice.
Ultimate X-Men, I gave it like 3 or 4 issues. I was like, okay, I'm
You
gonna wait for
wanted to
them.
like it, right? Like one of
I'm
those
gonna wait
things.
for
Sure.
them to get to it, and it's just like
Sure.
after those issues, I'm just like, no, I can't do this anymore. This is just
That's
not good.
I think there's a good like 3 issue rule to genuinely give something a shot. If it doesn't grab you by those 3 issues,
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
read
it
it.
definitely did not. It was
Right,
just,
right.
it was just, I did not like it at all. I was like, I'm done. I can't read these anymore.
I completely understand. you know what? I completely, absolutely.
But this Ultimate Wolverine does look intriguing.
Good. It looks good. I'm really looking forward to whatever this is.
Yeah.
And well, look at this art here too. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks good. It does. Um,
You know, it's kind of scary there with him like having a mask there as well. Like you can't stop this Wolverine.
yeah.
We'll see. It'll be very interesting too. Especially too with him being like a Winter Soldier. It'd be interesting to see how because this is going to delve into like part of like the Maker's like world, right? So it'll be really
Right.
interesting to get to see more of the background on the villain stuff, which I always find
Yeah.
interesting. Um, as long as the villain's done well, but like, um, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the Maker's a really cool villain, and the setup. Like, I read the setup for this. I own the Ultimate
Right.
Universe, right? Or what do they call it? Ultimate Invasion. That's what I was
Ultimate
thinking of.
Invasion. Yep.
Yeah, so I read that, so I know how it all began. I read the and that uh, did that collect the one shot or I don't think it did, but I also own the Ultimate Universe one shot that came out before all this stuff as well. That like ties all into it, which is essentially like what the Ultimate story is, but before
Hmm.
that, kind of picking up from that. So, but like this Ultimate Universe, I've been like, even though I'm not currently reading it, I've liked what I've read of it early on.
Yeah.
So, I will say I'm definitely like not to necessarily pick sides here though, but I'm considering to like fully go in with reading all the absolute stuff as it comes out though, or most of it at least.
Yeah.
I need more of that Batman. But
Oh, oh, for sure. Yeah.
and what sold me on getting Absolute Wonder Woman was seeing a bit of that artwork ahead of time, and I'm like, oh my
Hmm.
gosh, this is gorgeous. And what they're doing with the
Um,
action of that looked really good.
I I think you might like it.
Okay.
It was good. It's a definitely a different take
Yeah.
on Wonder Woman. Um, yeah, I think you'll like it.
I might do a review over it, so we'll see. Keep an eye out. I'm not promising anything, but I've thought about potentially doing a review over it, so keep an eye out. It may or may not happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I might review it. I haven't decided yet.
All right. Anyway, to continue onwards, we have
Doom.
Doom. We got a couple bits under this One World Under Doom, which we briefly mentioned this because it was literally only announced, and that was it. Of One World Under Doom is one of the next big events coming. And we're getting a lead up with it of the Rise of Emperor Doom, written by Ryan North, which is who writes the current Fantastic Four.
Okay.
He's writing this miniseries of talking about the rise of Emperor Doom, which will be very interesting. Which it just talks about uh yeah, One World Under Doom is the umbrella impacting like everything. Because there's a new arc that just started today and the mainline Avengers that deals with Doom, which I
Hmm.
was tempted to pick up because I'm like, this could be a good time to. I've been wanting to check out the mainline Avengers, but I resisted temptation there to get the Ultimate books. But anyway, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm seeing where One World Under Doom is going to see Doctor Doom coming out of Latveria, Never Night taking over the world. Because right now, after the events of Blood Hunt, where we talked about this last time, he became the Sorcerer Supreme. So
Yeah.
what he did right afterwards is he hightailed it back to Latveria and shut off the whole world. And so literally, not last issue of Fantastic Four, but I think it was the one before, dealt with them investigating what was around Latveria and being like, can we penetrate this? And finding out that, like, no, Doom is stuck in there. The heroes can't get to Doom. They tried. And so we'll see what happens here. I'm really interested in seeing this because we're seeing Doom, as mentioned here. He's heavy big player into this new Avengers arc that's going on, as well as this new Eight Deaths of Spider-Man, which linked here. I don't know if I do or not, but because I know they put out a trailer for it, but I don't have that lined up.
I mean, I'm kind of liking the idea of Doctor Doom being kind of center stage again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially, I mean, it's actual Doctor Doom doing like what you'd expect Doctor Doom to do.
Yeah.
I'm down for this, 100%.
Yeah. And this is a limited series, so I'm probably gonna pick this up.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll.
This isn't something I have to commit my whole life to.
It's going to be one of those things where there's going to be a lot of books with this One World Under Doom thing, but you probably don't have to read all of it, right? You could probably pick and choose your stuff. However, with it being Doom-centric and Doom probably being my favorite Marvel villain now, it's like, okay, maybe I'll try to check out other stuff.
He's definitely up there for me.
He's up there, yeah. Well, I'll be honest, who was my favorite Marvel villain was Thanos, and then I got heavy into reading that Doom omnibus and just a couple other Doom stories, and I'm like, okay. I'm really like I'm just Doom's just been jiving with me more recently than Thanos was for years.
So speaking of villains,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. It's just kind of a sneak peek.
Sure.
My current comic book daily challenge is about to end.
Okay.
I did today was day 18, and I do 20, so I got 2 days left.
There you go.
My next one is going to be comic book villains.
There you go. That's a good one.
So that should be yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Rise of Emperor Doom.
I agree. Also, spinning off of that is this series right here, uh, Doom Academy, which for me, I'm interested in this because I've read all but one of the trades, I think, of Strange Academy. So, seeing that they're now going to do Doom Academy, I'm intrigued as to what that'll entail since I've kept up with that stuff. And it's kind of like one of those things where I don't typically read the young readers stuff like this. I assume this would also be part of that line as well, since it's picking up from the whole Academy stuff and whatever. But it's one of those things that was just genuinely really good to where I was like, okay, I'll read it. It's just one of those young adult stories that ends up being something more than holding up as just a fun young adult story, I feel like. And so
yeah, I didn't read Strange Academy, so I am not like attached to this.
it's kind of, I'll be honest, it kind of, by the end of it, it kind of gets a bit dark for a young adult book, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, without saying anything, like I'll say it takes risks that I feel like, or does things that mainline books kind of don't do. Like some of them.
Yeah.
Like it like I don't want to spoil anything, but like I'd say it's something worth checking out. So, but yeah, Doom.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. All right. A couple quick things to quickly go through because I don't think you even care about this. She Devils, like, um,
Uh, I
right?
read through it. Meh.
It's obviously, it's one of those things, right? Woman of Marvel, sort of, they have these brandings of where, you can tell that they push a particular agenda with some of the books, without going too much down that rabbit hole of exactly, but like they have it literally right there labeled on the comic, right? And so,
Well, you know what? Um, when I first read this article,
yeah,
my thought was, as I just said, meh. But
yeah.
I just read who one of the writers is, so
I
is this a one shot or is this
think it's a anthology, maybe. Is that what it was?
oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, anthology one shots is what it is.
Okay, I might have to pick it up because one of the authors is one of my favorite
Talking
like
about Stephanie
modern
Phillips,
writers.
right?
Stephanie Phillips, yeah. She everything I have picked up that she has written has been amazing. Um like I just finished volume 1 of her I think it was volume 1. Yeah, it was volume 1 of her Harley Quinn run. And that was great.
Oh, okay, nice.
Um just like I've read a lot of her stuff in the last like 4 or 5 months, and I've just really liked everything that I've read.
Nice.
Um, with one exception that I won't mention, be, just because I'm thinking of going back and trying to read it again.
I think some stories are also better on a binge, Let it
Yeah.
read the full like arc sometimes.
Well, the book that I'm
I think I
saying
know
is
what you're
an
talking about, right?
exception is something that you really like.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right. So that's what I'm saying is that's not done yet since it's a newer book.
yeah, yeah.
So that's what I was
But
saying. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everything I've read from her has been incredible. So I might have to pick this up just because she's writing it.
You know what? Some
to
some
be fair, to
yeah.
be fair, I do like Elektra.
Sure.
I do like Echo. Not necessarily the TV show. Uh,
Yeah, it was a
um,
show.
Laura Kinney. Um, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
she's all right.
It was all right. We'll see.
But yeah, it's Stephanie Phillips is going to draw me into that one.
Interesting take. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of, devils and stuff, here's one of Marvel's big things is Charles Soule is uh coming back with coming to Daredevil for
Hmm.
Cold Day in Hell,
Yeah,
where this looks pretty good.
I'm yeah, I'm down for that.
An old man sort of Logan sort of like feel story. Not that universe, but like tone wise, trying to achieve something
Right.
similar where he loses his powers, but then he's still wanting to be like Daredevil, and then I think the description said I could literally just check it here, but talking about how he literally it awakens, and so he's then set off on like some sort of new journey. Yeah, causing his powers to miraculously return. Daredevil has chance. Yeah, so it sets off on this one big mission. So it's a 3-issue miniseries that you know
Yep,
what?
I'm
It's
down.
Charles
I'm
Soule.
ready.
I'm
Let's
there
go.
for it. I'm there for it. Yeah, exactly. When you have Charles Soule there, and yeah. All right. Next up we got interesting is I don't know like why specifically IGN kind of like got this. Well, maybe not too much, actually. But they got. Oh, here's what it was. They got a bunch of like preview gallery of the different covers and stuff for the new Venom, which I want to highlight that because it's very interesting that we're getting this whole new Venom, where they're keeping it top secret who this new Venom is. So we'll see what happens.
Hmm.
Oh, here's some
Okay.
actual interior work here. So very interesting. Which I don't know if I'll pick this up or not. It's tempting because I really like Venom. But yeah. And I'm interested with this new direction and stuff that they're going with it. This is something that I see myself enjoying, but I'm also just a really big Venom fan. So, but
Yeah.
one thing that they're not keeping secret about, who's being who, is Eddie Brock is now taking over the Carnage symbiote, also written by Charles Soule. Where they haven't really revealed anything about this other than Eddie Brock is now taking control of Carnage, and it will cross over with all new Venom.
Hmm.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with, I'm sure the explanation of why he has the symbiote is going to tie into the end of Venom War, which I'll probably catch up on all this current era Venom stuff once it's all out. But, yeah, Charles Soule is writing Eddie Brock as Carnage. And we'll see what happens here.
That's another writer that I really like.
Yeah.
I loved his run on Daredevil. Loved his run on Darth Vader. Ah, man.
Yeah. He is a
There's
very good
too much
writer.
content.
Right? There's too much.
Too much.
And you know what? What the panel, Spidey and Friends panel, ended with was the announcement of Spider-Verse versus Venomverse.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. So one World Under Doom in this. We'll see what else there is event-wise for Marvel, but you know they're always big into having always an event going on seemingly. So yeah. All right, so almost done with Marvel. Where the last two Marvel things we have isn't Marvel superheroes related. It is Star Wars related. Where we have first off we have this actually wasn't from New York Comic Con, but it was just before Star Wars New Legacy, where bit of recognizable faces here, and this it's a one
Mhm.
shot, right?
Is it a one shot?
Maybe not.
Um,
Miniseries if it's not a one shot, I think. Yeah,
but
no,
yeah,
it
it
is a
was a
one
one
shot.
shot.
That's what
It
I
was a
thought. It
one
was a one
shot.
shot,
Yeah.
yeah.
To celebrate the milestone 10th anniversary of Star Wars #1. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Big
then it
names
breaks
as
down
far as
into here.
writers go.
Yeah. I mean, it's all people that
Um,
have made a big impact as far as Marvel's era of Star Wars comics. So it's cool to see them back, each tackling one of these stories that is broken down here, where we see Darth Vader to Grand Moff Tarkin, the Empire's most powerful, gather on honor Emperor Palpatine, and that comes from Charles Soule. And that deals where stuff with Dr. Aphra and Santa Staros on a heist.
yeah.
You see a bunch of stuff here. Is it?
And what?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
Oh, you're all good.
what I find very interesting and exciting about this is that they brought back the writer that created Dr. Aphra to write Dr. Aphra.
Did Charles Soule write?
No, Kieran Gillen.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I see that. I didn't get to reading that last one yet. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk about a
Yeah,
peerless game
Kieran
between them.
Gillen
That's cool.
created, well, okay, co-created
Sure.
Dr. Aphra.
Definitely
Um,
cool to see back on that to do that. Right. That for sure. I'm
yeah, and
actually
I
most looking
can,
forward to the Jason Aaron story. Is uh, we get to see whatever happened to Squadron, also known as Task Force 99, which is
uh-huh.
interesting because that's the same number that Bad Batch is, right? So like,
Yep.
because we saw these people before Bad Batch was a thing, but it is like the Imperial version of it in his comic line. Uh, and I thought it was the most interesting bit of an arc that was not my favorite arc that he did, but like they were a really interesting
Mhm.
aspect though, and so really cool to see uh, that they're gonna be back, and kind of alluding to I guess their demise.
Yeah.
Would be cool. Well,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
excited. I am probably gonna. I usually don't do this, but I am probably gonna buy all three variant covers.
these I really like this middle one.
Yeah, I
I
just
like
like
that
them.
one a lot.
I like them all.
I like that one a lot. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's
All
a
right.
good one. It's a good one. I like
We
it.
also
I
have
like
an
it.
anthology series announced of Jedi Knights. Who's writing this?
Hmm.
Mark Guggenheim. Writing. It's a anthology series. So each issue is going to focus on a different Jedi Knight, and as you can see on here, it's like the main Republic era sort of like Jedi Knights here.
Yeah.
Um, and most notably it's set right before Phantom Menace. So you
Yeah.
have the young Obi-Wan and Dooku still as a Jedi, and Yaddle there, but it's your main like High Council Jedi. Other than that,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we'll see.
I'm down.
Could be, you know what? Give me a good Jedi story. As long as
Let's
it's
do it. Yeah, let's do it.
make your Jedi feel like Jedi. Looking at you, acolyte. Sorry, not sorry. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I got a hodgepodge of just other stuff that has come out. That's not necessarily related to anything in particular, just whatever else. Um, and so one thing when actually that I found early on when trying to gather news is this miniseries announcement, the new Borderlands miniseries, which I haven't read any like Borderlands comics or anything, but I just wanted to highlight it because it's Borderlands. Um, is Borderlands a franchise you've checked out at all?
I've never played the game and never read the comics.
Right. So it was a game series first and foremost. I don't know what other comics they've done, but I found it interesting to be like, oh, okay, Borderlands comic, okay. So stuff with Moxie there, who's a big side character. So, we'll see what happens there. Um, we also have. I know you're not like huge into like indie. Whoa, what the hell? I wanted that. I or
Hmm.
IGN.
Uh,
Uh, but that's what I was trying to do. Are you familiar with this series at all? An indie series called Little Nightmares, another video
no,
game
no.
franchise. Yeah, I haven't read
First
it
time
or
hearing
I
about
haven't
it.
played it. Oh my gosh, but it's making its leap into the world of comics, which I find interesting. I don't know how it ties into the games or anything. I'm sure there's a description here, but I haven't played these Little Nightmare games because I mean they look good. I just haven't tried to play any at all yet. It's like a 2D side scroller, but like think of it being very like a vibe I'd give to it. Like it's from what I feel like it's like a bunch of weird. You're like a tiny person going through like a bigger sort of like environments, and it's like the aesthetic. The closest thing I want to say is like Tim Burton-y, but not quite Tim Burton.
Mhm.
So it's an interesting like weird world of stuff that they have going on there, and it has a third one coming out or just came out, something like that. That's it's a big indie series that's come out that people have really enjoyed. So cool to see that smaller named video game also gets the comic treatment.
Yeah.
We also have I didn't go too much into this. Uh, if it opens it up. Maybe not. But there's a bunch of New York, from New York Comic Con, there's a bunch of Comixology reveals that happened. Uh, However, it is not wanting to open up, so we will just
Yeah,
have to.
that one I was having trouble getting that one to open up earlier, and I finally did get it to open up enough to where I could read through it.
Are just all these links broken from the site? This website might have issues, so no pictures. Sorry, everybody that's still listening in or watching. But essentially, what we have here is there's a bunch of Comixology originals with. Honestly, like I overlook these projects most. I think I've only read one Comixology original series that was written by Scott Snyder called "We Have Demons." I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got another one coming out, and
yeah.
he's actually partnering up with his son, I
Ooh,
believe. Um, so that one struck me
that's
as
cool.
that could be interesting. Um, by a thread is what it's called.
I will check. I'll need to check that out. I need to spend more time because there's notable creators have done stuff for Comixology,
Yeah,
and so
yeah, they have. And the list of the names of writers and artists that are going to be on some of these projects, like Scott Snyder is probably the biggest name on here.
he's been a big what do I want to say, advocate for this Comixology stuff, having a good partnership with them.
Yeah.
He actually got to the only reason why I read that We Have Demons is because he was able to get a partnership with Comixology and Dark Horse to print those issues and print some other Comixology originals.
Hmm.
And so that's the only reason I checked out We Have Demons. It was like I saw on the shelf, oh, a Scott Snyder comic, because he's one of the comic writers that personally reaches out to me. And, we were talking earlier about comic writers that speak out to us, right? And so
Right.
he's one of the ones for me personally. And so when I saw that on the shelf, I was like, oh, I'll have to check this out. And ended up really liking that 3-issue miniseries and kind of wish there was more of it, but
Yeah. And yeah, Scott Snyder, I was mentioning the comic book daily challenge that I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you follow me on social media out there, folks, I do these daily challenges, and the
Mm-hmm.
one that I'm doing right now is favorite comic book writers. Today actually was Scott Snyder.
Oh,
Um,
what a coincidence.
yeah,
I like it.
um,
I approve of that choice.
yeah. But as far as that list of names for Comixology Unlimited exclusives, uh, Guggenheim was another one that
See,
I
yeah.
recognized. And then another name that I recognized, not so much from comic books, but you might know the name Tom Morello.
I can't say I do right offhand.
He is the guitar player for Rage Against the Machine.
I know the band. I don't. I know band names. I don't know member
Okay,
names.
he is the guitar player for Rage Against the Machine.
That's interesting.
And
They. Did I
I
talk?
think
Do you know what the title is of what he worked on is called, or what he's doing is called?
I don't know what is on the list for his for this upcoming thing. But he wrote, if
Oh,
it
here
is
we
the
go.
same Tom Morello, I don't know.
Here we
It
go.
seems it it
Yeah.
it might be. I don't know. But
Finally, it's loaded in here. Ghost box still.
he wrote it is. I just read a review of the book, and it is musician Tom Morello. He wrote a book called Orchid. Um, that is kind of post-apocalyptic ish, dystopian type thing. Um, and now this Orchid comic was not Comixology Unlimited exclusive.
Okay.
Well, it might be Comixology exclusive, but it is not free. Um, a lot of that Comixology Unlimited stuff
Right. Yeah.
is free. Not this, not Orchid. Um, but yeah, those are really the only names on that list
Oh.
that I
But
recognized.
this By a Thread was one that's done before. They're expanding it into book 2, and notice that it's called issue 5 of 4. Okay.
Okay.
There you go. Interesting.
Um.
All right. Next up, I wanted to mention that from Dynamite Comics, they're bringing back Zootopia in the world of comics here, where I personally really like Zootopia. Okay, like that's one of my favorite like animated Disney projects in recent years. Like I
That
really
was a
like
good
this
movie.
movie.
It was
Yeah,
good. It was
it was
cute.
good. It was good. And so they're doing a anthology Zootopia series, which
Well, I
could be
mean,
fun.
you know why they're doing that.
Zootopia 2, obviously.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but you know what? I never watched Zootopia Plus. It's one of those things I was like I wanted to get around to, but never did. But like, this could be fun. And I not too long, like, was it last month or the month before? I read through the Darkwing Duck Dynamite series, and I actually really liked that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who wrote that comic. I don't think it was a name I knew, but that person did a great job with capturing the feel of Darkwing Duck. And so if they can, I know Dynamite's been doing a bunch of other Disney stuff. Like there's a Lilo and Stitch. There's been like a
Mhm.
Maleficent and Scar series, and they're doing all this stuff with Gargoyles and a bunch of different Disney properties, which is great to see. Some of these characters and stuff explore these new mediums, especially like the '90s cartoons like Gargoyles and Darkwing Duck, being expanded upon in this medium, since they'll probably never ever get shows again, sadly. But well, never say never, but not
Yeah.
anytime soon, right? So, but anyway, I don't know. I've liked how Dynamite has expanded on their stuff, so we'll see what happens at once it goes.
Dynamite has done some decent stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hold on one moment here as I'm finding something here. Uh,
Hey, Andrew.
what up, Andrew? Oh, that's weird. My chat thingy's not working there. But there we go. Yes. You know what? No worries, Andrew. We still have a bit to talk about. But yeah. Or a little bit to talk about here. We're just talking about Zootopia's getting a yeah, Zootopia's getting a miniseries. Yeah, well, I think it's a miniseries probably. Series of one shots. None of these Dynamite series are actual full on series. So, all right, but yeah. Um, we also have another thing from Dynamite that actually fellow Redshirt Chris wanted to bring up, and this actually I should have done some research on this ahead of time, but this is probably something you'd be able to share a bit more light on than I'd be able to. Is Silverhawks is making a return?
No idea what that is.
No? Okay. Well, it's
Yeah, I
set in the
read through
world.
that. I'm like,
This
oh,
one is
yeah.
set in the world of Thundercats.
Okay, yeah, I was not. I mean, I was not a big um, follower of Thundercats when it was.
Well, I don't think it was originally set in the world of Thundercats, but like I'm guessing it's another cartoon from the era or something. Um, I'm not sure. But Silverhawks is coming January next year, so speaking of cartoons, I have something here in a moment that's interesting about cartoons, but so yeah. All right. Let's keep it going then. Chris is saying yes it is. I assume about the cartoon, right? That's what I figured it would be, if that's what you're saying. Yes, it is too. So, yeah. All right. We
Okay.
also have IDW. Actually, a bit of IDW news here. Actually, I meant to have this one. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter what order these are in. First up, we have the new artist for Jason Aaron's TMNT issue 6 here. And we get to get a good look at his art here. It's looking pretty good. Liking that. Saying it was an awesome cartoon. Nice. I think this is like a main cover. This is a pretty cool cover, honestly.
Yeah.
So, I haven't kept up with any of Jason Aaron's TMNT yet. I want to read it.
Yeah, I have not either.
I know the first 4 issues each focused on an individual Ninja Turtle. So we'll see. You know, this is them actually together, and what's interesting about each of those first 4 issues is there's a different artist with each issue, so this is sort of a bigger thing to where it's like, okay, well, now we see who's going to be supposedly the mainline artist now that'll actually now draw the entire lineup and book now going forward. So that's why, in particular, I think that's notable. But also speaking of IDW, they're getting a new logo, which I think looks, honestly, I don't like this new logo. And so, but something I just want to bring up because it's, I don't know. I don't know about this, man. There's no W now for IDW. They're now being rebranded as ID Comics and Entertainment. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I don't know about this one. But, yeah. Just something I wanted to highlight because I saw that and it honestly kind of made me raise an eyebrow. I don't know. But we also, though, have an announcement, like how they're mixing this logo in with their new imprint is cool. Because that's the main thing I wanted to show from this article, is they're doing a new imprint called ID Dark. So it's like a more horror-focused imprint from IDW now. And so I don't know if they specifically announced anything in particular. Oh yeah, they announced properties like Smile, Twilight Zone, Event Horizon, Quiet Place, and Sleepy Hollow will all take part of this later on. But then it also we got the announcement of a bunch of several Godzilla series as well,
Yeah,
such
that
as
looks
first
interesting.
Godzilla Heist. Manny figures out how to lure Godzilla from city to city, and then like a top tier opportunity robs banks while Godzilla is causing havoc. Interesting idea. We have Mothra is getting her own series called The Queen of Monsters. March 5th it comes out. I have details on these as well as Godzilla vs. America, which is an anthology. 4-page, 10-page story. Yeah, it's an anthology series that's going to focus on Godzilla against a focus part of America. And so I actually have to bring up here the main other bits about this Godzilla news, because for one, we now have for Godzilla vs. America, one of those one-shot stories is Godzilla vs. Chicago. So be careful out there, everybody that's in Chicago, I guess, you know. Godzilla's coming for you, apparently. Be wary. We also have was there, I think it was another look at yeah, we have another look at another Mothra cover there as well, so which is interesting too, because it looks like it's kind of more in line with, like, I don't know too much about like Mothra stuff looking into it, but this kind of looks like more those people doing their ritual thing. It kind of reminds me of like what was going on in that new Godzilla and Kong movie with Mothra. Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it, but it's been out since what, March, April. But yeah. We also got, and then yeah, Godzilla Heist, yeah. So, we also had too. I have a bit of stuff from Image here, or some stuff specifically Image. One of the things is, Todd McFarlane announced that there's a new Spawn series called Spawn 77, which it talks about the original Spawn, which is interesting because they're calling it the original Spawn because that's right there essentially was the original design for Spawn and like the concept art. So they're going all into this idea of there's an original Spawn, I guess, that battles angels, demons, and humanity's worth. So I'm guessing this is just Todd McFarlane being like, this is what Spawn could have been for my original idea of the character, and that's what this series is. I think that's what he's getting to with this. So, which, you know what, it's an interesting idea. I don't know how I'd feel about it if he's going to actually be in the main universe or not, but it's a cool idea, so I'll give it a shot.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Yet another Spawn title that I've honestly, because we're talking about trying to cut comic software pools, right? And I've been thinking, like,
yeah.
I should probably cut at least some of the Spawn stuff, but because I'd still like to at least carry some of the Spawn stuff. And then it's kind of a hard decision too of like, which ones do I keep?
Yeah.
And so, especially because it's like, I've been keeping up with Spawn since the Spawn's universe started like 2-3 years ago, where the last of those titles to come out, it's up in the 30s now, so I've been keeping up with it. So it's like also kind of sentimental too, because it's like, I've been collecting this for like 30 plus bucks. It's like, I don't want to take this off.
Right.
Save a few bucks, because that's how Spawn gets you. Is they're cheap, being $2.99 each. And that's how they've kept me. I'm not gonna lie about that. So, here's something interesting that I didn't know was a thing until reading this update that came out. Is that Rick Remender has his own imprint that he's been working on with Image called Giant Generator, and he just added some new creators to this lineup.
Yeah. I recognize one name.
Zeb Wells, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not familiar because it says artist Steen Epting, which is known for work on Velvet, which I'm not familiar with, and artist Kalman. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but it worked on Dungeons and Dragons. But previously, last year's New York Comic Con talked about deals with a bunch of other names here as well that is worked on. Like, some of these are actually like titles that's definitely noteworthy. So even though I'm not really familiar with any of these names specifically, so I'm not quite sure I'm not sure if anything's come from this as of yet, but like, it's interesting. I'll have to look into more of this Giant Generator imprint specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome in, Paul. Paul from over Paul's Collectibles there. Welcome in. Yeah, we're near the tail end of the show, but the party will continue over on Red Shirts Remastered, which I'll be linking here in a bit. But we still have a few other comic news to talk about here. But yeah. Let's see here, what else do we got here? We have, next up we have... Oh, there's some interesting Image stuff as well that... oh wait, actually, before we get to that. There was a little bit of a Ghost Machine announcement.
Mm-hmm.
With a couple... I mean, we got more look at new look at Hornsby and Halo there, which is one of the big new series. I'll be honest, I'm only kind of mainly interested in the unnamed part of the universe where they announced this new series. We don't know anything about it other than First Ghost is what this is called, but it's in the same universe as Redcoat and Geiger, which I really like. I'm not picking up the modern because that's as we were talking about, a casualty to our list there, right? Or pulls there, but it's part of that, which is really cool. I've really enjoyed that. And then there's a new series that's part of the Hyde Street, which is like a more horror-centric or more spooky sort of feels, which is interesting. those parts don't personally speak out to me as much, but
No.
there's a lot of great creators working on these, and I'll definitely want to give it a look later on. And also welcome in Patrick, fellow Redshirt. Will be live over on Redshirts Remastered, talking about a bunch of other stuff after here. So be sure to go check it out. I'll have the link posted in the chat just before we wrap up here. So yeah, just wrapping up talking about different news and bits here. As there's been a lot because New York. I feel like we've had more to talk about this time from New York Comic Con than we did San Diego,
I
or
think
maybe
we
it's
did too.
comparable. But like,
Again, as I mentioned earlier, this one was more comic book centric than San Diego.
I'd agree. San Diego had big stuff, but there's been a lot of stuff. And I will say these next few aren't necessarily from San Diego, or not San Diego, oh my gosh, New York Comic Con specifically, but these are other stuff that I found that's independent related that looked really interesting, or other publishers related that I thought looked interesting that I think is also worth highlighting because the world of comics isn't just about the world of superheroes, right? And so it's important to also show what other bits is going on than just superheroes. So, and this first one is one that I think I had no idea about this, and I'm glad I actively looked out for this because this seems really interesting. And it's a game. It's called Bug Wars.
Yeah.
Written by Jason Aaron. So talk about another writer to look out for, right? And the idea of this is essentially, think of it being like there's a game called Grounded, where the whole premise is that you're like kids that get shrunk in like the backyard, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but it's a survival game where you have to survive out in the backyard. So think that you're tiny like that, but then it's like a giant fantasy war going on where where's it broken down here? Where it's like spiders are like these witches, and you have all these knights battling each other. You have these like beetles that are essentially used as their horses. So it's like a giant fantasy war going on in somebody's backyard here that this person gets roped into somehow. And so I think it mentioned it being a family affair or something, and I'm like, okay. This is hitting a lot of checkboxes for me personally, where I'm like, this sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Look at that. This is like freaking using like a praying man, like praying mantis here is like what kind of reminds me of vibes of like the elephants in Lord of the Rings, or the AT-ATs almost from Star Wars with those big legs there, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I'm down with it. Spider witches and all that. Like, they're making the spiders be witches. Like, this is crazy. Yeah.
It could be interesting.
Think Honey, I Shrunk the Kids meets Game of Thrones.
There you go.
You know what? Sign me up for this. 6-issue dark fantasy epic miniseries coming out in February from Image Comics, where yeah, this looks really good. This looks really good. Not gonna lie. I'm glad I went out to look for this because that looks really good. Let's see here. This one's a Rick Remender series that I personally I don't care for it as much. Oh, talk about giant generator books. It's a giant generator book.
There you go.
From him. Called The Seasons. So yeah.
I have heard of this book. I have not read it.
So this looks like it actually. Wait, no, that's when this was published. Never mind. When does this book come out? Because this is an actual like full-on preview. Is it already out? Could be. Well, this book was talked about at New York Comic Con. I don't see it when it comes out though. Oh Jesus! I just need to read the title. January. All right. Yeah, so January next year is this.
Yeah, maybe I have heard. Maybe that's why I haven't read it. It seems like I had heard about this before, and I don't know where I would have heard about it.
Summer, winter, spring, and autumn are the Seasons sisters, the daughters of the world-renowned Seasons detectives. 10 years ago, their famous Parents disappeared, left to raise themselves. The sisters formed an unbreakable bond. Now that bond is tested as the sisters fall prey to sinister forces. The youngest sister, Spring, is the last hope of saving them from a fate worse than death. Will Spring be able to piece her shattered family back together before it's too late?
Hmm.
We'll see. Nothing that grabs me right away, but you know what? I think there's potential there. I would much rather take the story about bugs. That should tell you everything about my preference of reading. Is this another image from also from Charles Soule that we were talking about? Is writing a series from the same creators of who so same artists as well from who wrote or who worked on 8 Billion Genies, which I've heard is good. I haven't read it. Have you checked that out by any chance?
No.
No. I want to. I've heard good things about it. But they're working on something called The Lucky Devils, where it's a tale of two ordinary, good-hearted 20-something... I don't know how to say that. Chicagoans? That sounds incredibly racist.
Chicagoans.
Chicagoans. Wow. We're going to pretend like that didn't happen. Chicagoans who've been begin working with devils on their shoulders and attempt to fix their broken lives. So we're spawned their wild dreams, and this time, two of the most powerful people on Earth, while they fully intend to use influence to make the world a better place, will all know what they say about the road to hell. Very interesting.
So I like the artwork in here.
This is pretty good artwork right here, absolutely. Paul is saying, wow, there's so much out there I know nothing about. I'll be honest, we're in the section of where this is all, like, just brand new stuff.
Yeah.
Indie created stuff or creator owned stuff where I didn't know about a lot of this stuff until like a day or two ago when I went to look at this.
Yeah,
and figure it out.
Most of the stuff I've not heard of before either.
Yeah, yeah, same here. But then it's also stuff where
Seasons. I know that Seasons thing I had heard of.
Yeah.
From somewhere. I just don't know where.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's cool though because it's like. As I was mentioning earlier, comics aren't just about superheroes, and there's other bits to get into that. And that's the thing too, is that's something I acknowledge, is I don't read enough comics that's not superheroes. But then there's that problem that we're also talking about, you know, there's only so much you can read at one time, and I just choose what I know I really like, even though I want to check out more stuff like this. Because, like, this is one... I don't want to check it out as much as Bug Wars, but I want to check this out. I'll be honest, out of all the independent books that we're going through, I think Bug Wars is, if there's any I'd potentially put on my pull list, it's Bug Wars.
Yeah.
Or I'll wait for the trade. I may wait for the trade.
I mean, there is, there's something that we're going to talk about here in a few moments that I also had heard about, and I think it could be interesting. So we'll see.
Wow. Matthew's over here making fun of me. No, just kidding. He's saying Chicago is what Kelly Bundy called Chicago.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm Kelly Bundy now, I guess. Put that on myself. Damn. Alright, anyway. Yeah, we only have a few more things left though, so let's keep on going with it. Next is a Dark Horse series set in the world of Hellboy. Or speaking of Hellboy, I want to watch that movie that came out. We'll see. But anyway, from the world of Hellboy, we have Frankenstein New World, The Sea Forever, which is Frankenstein New World was already a thing, and so it's a follow-up to it in The Sea Forever. And so I just want to highlight that because first off, when you put attached in the world of Hellboy, that attracts to me because I really like Hellboy as a character, and I've really enjoyed the comics I've read of Hellboy. Something else I want to delve heavy into. So, but yeah, Frankenstein New World. And this is actually an exclusive scoop that these people got coming out next year, so good for them there. We also have, this was an interesting one. So this was really interesting because we're having a new Dynamite series. Oh, I should have put this one earlier with the other Dynamite stuff. Oh well. Of a series called Herculoids. And I was like, they're referring to, just while reading this article about Herculoids, it seemed like they were talking about it being something from the past, and then here it's mentioned about it being a cartoon, and it's like,
Mm.
okay, I don't know why the pictures, but this isn't loading. But I looked into this, and it was an old '60s cartoon that came out that I've never heard of until yesterday when I was looking into this, and I need to get their website together because they are not loading the pictures as they should. But here's at least a look of
Mm.
these Herculoids, of which is really interesting because it's like about these. Okay, so you're having problems. Um, these Herculoids though, it's like these like big, not quite kaiju's, but like they're these like monsters that they focus on.
Yeah.
I think I recognize the artist who worked did this cover, which is interesting. Uh, yeah. So it's really interesting to see this old '60s cartoon just be revived into a Dynamite series. Matthew knows of this, and he watched them. So yeah, Dynamite's bringing back Herculoids, which very interesting. Because I actually went to go back and I watched a clip of the show. Because when I was looking into what Herculoids was, I was like, I've never heard of this, and I watched a clip of it, and I'm like, this looks solid uh for a for something animated in the '60s. It looks like something solid. No.
Mm.
And then we have one more. Was this the other one that you were talking
Yeah.
about? All right.
Yeah. This is
Let's end it with this.
it's a story about the Jersey Devil. Um, and probably the reason why I have heard of this is because it's written by Tinian, and I subscribe to his Substack, so he probably talked about it on there
Sure.
somewhere, if
Awesome.
not there somewhere. But yeah, it's Tinian. Tinian is known to be so this cover um, right at the top where it says a true weird story. Um, that is spot on for stuff that Tinian writes. Tinian's got he is known for writing some weird stuff. Like probably his most mainstream title was when he did his run on Detective Comics and on Batman,
Yeah.
which his run on Detective that is recommended rating.
I read the first 6 issues, and that was really good. I want to read
Yeah,
more.
but everything outside of that is just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Like he writes the Department of Truth, which is all
That's
conspiracy
crazy.
theory type stuff, and it's a good book. It's really good. Um, I recently read this trade by him called World Tree.
I read the first issue of that. That's a really weird first issue.
Uh, yeah, that one was really weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I describe that one to somebody else, to be honest, you know? It's like,
Yeah, it's like
uh,
the undernet. It's
yeah, because yeah,
it
you know
is
what?
very odd.
There's some things, if you were to just go check it out blind, you know?
Yeah, yeah, no, I would not say I wouldn't say don't read it
Yeah,
because it is an amazing book. It's great. It's just weird. And that's Tinian. That's a Tinian thing. He just writes weird stuff. He wrote um, one of his most popular books uh, lately has been the Something is Killing the Children series.
oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
And that one is also kind of weird. Um,
There's a common denominator here, folks.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, this let this one be a devil.
Well, you know specifically what this deals with, right? Is
What was the Jersey Devil?
yeah, and I've always found Jersey Devil to be like a very interesting cryptid since I learned about it. And it's one of those things I'd like to look into more stories of that, but just haven't. But I don't feel like there's a bunch of widespread stories of it to really check out, you know? So to have a writer like Tinian that's made a name for himself, as we were just talking about here, him to be on this,
Yeah.
I think it's exciting because like give me more Jersey Devil, which is just interesting, and then you have him on it. It could be a pretty good mix.
And I'm pretty sure that this is a limited series.
I would think so. Because I would find it very hard to find an actual ongoing series of this.
1 of 4. It says 1 of 4. This is not his first foray into the Jersey Devil, though. He actually wrote.
Oh, really?
There was at least one issue of Department of Truth where he talks about.
Oh, I need to see. That's a series I need to read more of. I read the first issue of it because Image was doing this thing or has been doing this thing recently where you $1 like Image first or something like that, what they call it. And so like a couple months ago when I saw a bunch of those on the shelves, I picked up the first of. They were $1 each, so I picked up the first of each of the series I haven't read, and one of those was Department of Truth, one of those was World Tree. That's my only exposure to those, and so, yeah. But yeah, it specifically says it's specifically what this series is about. In the early 1900s, Henry Naughton returns home to the family farm in the swampy pine barrens of southern New Jersey. One night he encounters a strange predator stalking the woods. This sends the young scholar on a research project that uncovers a legend of Mother Leeds and the terrible birth of the Jersey Devil in 1735. Sign me up.
Yeah. It's Tinian. I'll read it.
Right? Exactly. Does this have a release date? I do not see a release date attached to this. All I see is a publishing date on this as far as dates go. So. Oh, wait, no, it still goes here. Never mind. February 19th. As you're saying, 4 issues, $4.99 each. So. Wait, did Tinian also write Blue Book? I see it talking about Blue Book here. Let's look that up really quick.
Yeah, that's one I don't think I have heard of.
I read the first issue of it and I liked it, so that's what I'm asking.
Yep.
I'm curious.
Yeah, that was Tinian.
So I wonder if they're doing other stories like this, and I'm putting new. I don't know if they've used this imprint of how we're saying here, true weird story, because this fits perfectly in the vibe of what Blue Book is. That sort of thing to have a branding of a true weird story on it. So.
Well, I'm looking at the book, the first volume on Amazon, which collects number 1 through 5.
Yeah, I was saying I just saw that as a limited series of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, and it says James Tinian presents what he calls his true weird stories. So maybe this was like the beginning of his true
sort of
weird. Yeah.
Okay, so they're now actually marketing it as that. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's cool because that first issue was good because it gets into alien stuff. That first issue was good. I would like to eventually go and read the others for sure.
Yeah, that looks like that could be an interesting book too.
Yeah. Lots of stuff we went over for sure. As New York Comic Con was filled, there's a lot of stuff that we just breezed past because there's a lot. So, if you're coming in here late, go check out everything else that we talked about. As there was a lot we went into. I showed my pulls at the beginning of what I got. Keep an eye out for when I actually post that as a video sooner than later after I take the time to trim it down and post it and all that. One thing I do want to highlight before we do or a couple things I want to highlight before I get out of here is make sure, as always, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, share it around. Go check out my Absolute Batman issue 1 video where I had a great conversation talking about Absolute Batman. I'll be sure to link that down below after the fact if I remember. Uh, and something else I want to talk about as well is this Friday over on the Red 5 Tavern, I am DMing part 1 of my one-shot Halloween's Abyss where, you know what? Here you all have it. This is the thumbnail I literally just got to proof for it, which looks pretty good to me. Part 1 of Halloween's Abyss right there on Red 5 Tavern there, where
cool.
we will be talking about, or not talking, we'll be playing, this is going to be a really fun time, as you can see that our characters went in for costumes here, and so that'll be a lot of fun, and just highlighting, my character's a fairy right here. He's dressing up as a fairy, but yeah. But yeah, so be sure to check this out on Friday, everybody. Where I'm not quite done with. I've ran this. It was a one shot that I ran last year with my friends. I think for my birthday, and I was like really excited. I was wanting to run it digitally last year. I think I even asked you if you wanted to be part of this last year, but just timing didn't work out. So, but yeah, so I'm very excited to actually be able to expand on it a tiny bit. Mainly into making it work better as a digital game since I ran in person, and so running the part 1 of this on Friday, which I'm very excited to into. And then the other thing, which let me pull this up here really quick as well, is I will be live over on Red Shirts Remastered very shortly. If you're not subscribed to Red Shirts Remastered here, go do. As we will be, we have our podcast, Rambling Red Shirts, where we talk about whatever news stuff and go on a bunch of different random tangents because it's in the name of the show, Rambling Red Shirts. That's what we do. So we are looking into doing, we're going to be talking about some other New York Comic Con stuff, as well as some stuff that's coming out in the gaming world that we're excited to talk about, and gaming developments there. And so be sure to catch us over there as we're going live, pretty much just after I get off over here. So I'm going to put the link to that in the chat for everybody to go over and come join us over there. And so, yeah. And also, for anybody that missed it at the beginning, I am wanting to make Daily Dingus a bi-weekly show every couple weeks. Have one of these shows done here, but we're gonna try to get into the schedule of whenever there's not a Daily Dingus show, there's gonna be a Rambling Red Shirt show. So hopefully I get into a flow where almost every Wednesday I'm somewhere talking about stuff. So trying to get into a bit of a weekly consistency for both the channels. So
good times.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, exactly. And so, but yeah, and lots of other looking into ideas as well of just how to make more Dingus Den content as well. So, but yeah, that'll do it though. Thank you so much for joining in, Steve, for a monster of an episode. As there was a lot to talk about, a lot to get into.
It was fun.
Like I said, next episode won't nearly be as long because there's just a bunch of stuff with New York Comic Con. I expect next episode to honestly be quite light, just because there probably won't be a lot. Welcome in to the very end, Ralph. At the very end. But the party continues over on Rambling Red Shirts here shortly, so be sure to check that out, everybody. Link in the chat right there where we will be. I'll be live over there talking other non-comic stuff. But you know what? We covered all the New York Comic Con news here, as well as a few other things. So that was absolutely excellent. Do you have anything you should want to say before we get out of here?
No, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming and, sitting through with all this. There was a lot. And so I appreciate you spending your time as we go through all this. And be sure to check out Steve over on Rebel Rock Radio, where you
check out Rebel Rock Radio.
Yes. Excellent tunes in Star Wars, am I right? So
that is right.
There we go. So, until next time, everybody, see you all, hopefully, just over, right down there, guys, over on Red Shirts Remastered, where we are going to be, talk about other stuff. So come join us right over here. So until then, till next time here on the Dingus Den. Laters, everybody.